Hi, welcome.
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm
Yes.
Bree. I'm excited to be here.
Oh, thank you for coming, and we're going to interview you and ask you some questions for this job.
Yay.
Tell us about why you are interested in this job.
I've been interested in world cultures and languages since I started my education at Western. And when I found the TESOL program and started volunteering with the Asian University America program, I fell in love with exchange students. I fell in love with teaching English. I knew it was something I really wanted to do as a career. And I've heard amazing things about EPIC ever since I started the program, just from people that have done it, from teachers, and it just made me really excited about the possibility of going to Korea and just working with the students there, getting, learning about your culture, learning about the language, so I'm excited about it.
Thanks. So tell us about your TESOL certificate program. It says here that you followed the SIOP model. Please explain 3 key points of this model that have influenced your teaching.
So I think the biggest thing that's influenced me is having supplementary materials. So basically that's just, manipulatives or like real objects the students can. So if I'm going to talk about, the vocabulary word ball, I'm going to have a ball and I'm just going to show that to them. Or with activities, having pictures that can move around in pair with like the vocabulary word and stuff, or just having things they can touch, move around, and do in the classroom is so much better than just them, talking to each other or you talking at them. They need to be engaging with the language in a real way, and I think that's has the biggest impact on my teaching. And then also emphasizing vocabulary was the second thing, going over vocabulary at the beginning and then having them go over it with each other in the groups, and even at the end doing a recap and going over it again, and just kind of constantly going over that vocabulary and then even refreshing it the next day is really good, so that they can build on their vocabulary, not just learn something for the day and forget it again. And then the last thing is interacting with each other and with the teacher one-on-one. So making sure they have time to work with each other in discussion groups, work with each other for the activity, and that I can go in between desks and have one-on-one interaction with them too. Is really important, so that they're not feeling disconnected or lost as you're up there and they can't ever talk to you, ask questions, or ask questions with each other. So making sure there's plenty of interaction time is, I'd say, the third thing that I think is most important. Had a big influence on my teaching.
Those are good practices. So we greatly value active participation by students. And how would you foster greater student participation and interaction for all students?
What I like to do is have lots of activity or partner times. I don't ever want a class day to go without having times where they get to have student-student interaction or an activity. They get to kind of collaborate with each other. And I also always make sure there's time, even throughout the lesson, that I'm always walking, up and interacting with students and walking in between desks, so that I can actually talk with them and be available for questions. I never want them to feel like I'm away or unreachable, and that they don't have that time to talk with each other. So that's how I try to encourage interaction, just having lots of activities.
Good. What is the most challenging behavioral situation you have ever dealt with in the classroom, and how did you react?
I think the most challenging thing is when a student feels really embarrassed about their mistakes, or doesn't want to admit that they're struggling, or admit that there's a mistake, or just kind of hiding it too from the teacher, which makes it really hard, because I want them to feel like this is a safe place, for making mistakes, that everyone makes mistakes, and I want them to actually feel like this is a place where they can, grow and get better, and not, be ashamed that way. So a way that I try to help them feel more comfortable is, I make mistakes all the time. And so when I make a mistake, I'm like up on the board, I won't just erase it and change it. I'll actually make sure everyone sees it. And I'll say, do you see the mistake? And I'll point to the board and be like, where's the mistake? And they'll all look, and then they'll almost always find the mistake. So that's good for me too, kind of to see where they're at. Like, oh, are they noticing the mistake? And they'll find it, and then I'll go, oh yes, there's a mistake. What should it be? And they'll correct it, and then I'll correct it on there, and I'll be like, I made a mistake, and they'll usually laugh. They think it's always so funny, and I'll be like, I'm sorry, like it's okay, just make it positive, and then it's a learning experience for them, and I'm hoping that it will encourage that it's fine to make mistakes. We all do. And just make students more comfortable.
That's good. You're making a teaching moment.
Yeah.
So, how would you differentiate instruction in a multi-level classroom?
So right now I'm in a multi-level classroom. It's all ages, all different languages, all different levels. So really being able to take, the curriculum that they need to learn and then make sure that's at everyone's level and will help everybody is always a challenge. What we usually do is we'll split them lower levels into one group and the higher levels into another group. We'll have a topic like daily activities or something that we're supposed to go over. They have to know for the CASA testing. And so we'll go over for the lower levels. There's just a lot of vocabulary they don't know. So something like make the bed for a daily activity, they don't know what bed is or what that would mean. So we kind of go over it as a vocabulary word for them. I'll actually do the action and have the picture and say make the bed, and they'll learn, oh, make the bed, that's what that is. And then for the higher levels, we'll go more into the grammar of it, like make, that's a verb, and we'll say he makes, she, makes, they make. Or you will even take it the next step and do the progressive form, making the bed, And so they'll learn a little bit more in depth about the grammar structure of that, while the lower levels are kind of learning the vocabulary aspect of that. And so that's kind of how we break it up, is by, just taking what they need to learn for the test, changing it for each level, and just teaching them separately that way. Or if it has to be done all together, then we'll have volunteers each with the lower level students helping them one-on-one, while the main teacher is going over the whole lesson in general with the whole classroom.
Good job. Thank you for coming in today.
Yeah, thank you for your consideration. Look forward to hearing from you.